Hi, welcome back to My Life with Plants. I'm Newman. Today is the day where we're going to have a little look at these orchids. See how they're doing so far, hanging in this sunny window. And they get about, well, as we can see here by this thermometer, it's nearly 25 degrees, so it gets quite warm in here. 40% humidity, so the humidity is very low, and it'll climb back up to about 75-80% during the night. It's one thing that I'm not able to control because it is very dry here in the winter time. This kind of dryness and so that's the daytime temperature. Can get up to 25. If it's not, the sun doesn't come out, you could expect it to be around 15 degrees in here. It can drop down to 10 and sometimes 8 degrees if we have snow forecast. So on the days when we don't get the sunshine, you can expect temperatures about 15 degrees, and it can go down to about 8. As regarding extra heat source, we do have this this foot fan. It's a 300 watt. The thing is with these little things is that they can have the smell of oil or residues left over. And at the moment I'm still trying to get the smell to dissipate. Still has a slight smell. We will let it continue. This is to help them through the December and January a little bit. This window is very bright, so it makes it hard to film. You have to put the camera on a different angle so that you can see what's going on. And I'm going to try to talk about each one in detail as much as I can. Alright. Does anyone else have as much trouble as I do? You get caught up on things with your clothing. Okay, let me see. Okay, this one is in the nice sunny window. It's a Bifrenaria. Let's see if I'm in the camera or not. Over about there. You can see these bulbs are shriveling a little bit. That's normal for it. It's also normal for it to try to push out some new roots. And this one has 2 new growths coming out. Bifrenaria tyranthina, I think that's how you say it, native to Brazil, in a seasonally dry jungle, so it can get plenty of rain during the summer. During the winter it'll dry out, it'll have a dry period. And this one has done excellent. It goes out on the balcony and puts up with temperatures and get up to 43 degrees centigrade, which is over 100 Fahrenheit. And it does have shade cloth over the top of it so that it doesn't get burns. But this one is just, I mean, if shout out to Stephen. If you haven't gotten one of these yet, you should. They have beautiful flowers, yet mine hasn't flowered yet, though I should try to make sure that this is dry and just give it a slight misting every now and then, maybe once in the morning, but nothing too much to induce flowering. So probably about a month of dryness should do it, bring it into flower. So that it'll flower early in the spring. Lovely orchid, very easy to grow, very widely available in Japan because it's a success. It's easy to grow. Right, let's put that back. Okay, next one. This is Dendrobium thriciflorum. So this is one of those orchids that demand a dry winter rest. So they do not mind shriveling up. It did put out 2 new canes. It didn't flower. I don't know why, but these 2 new canes are certainly big, healthy growths, and I do feed it. It's animal dung pellets, compressed manure. And this one hung underneath a conifer tree during the summer where it had dappled sunlight with a little bit of direct, but not much. And this one could not go on the balcony with that heat, so it stays out in the garden. And it likes the dry winter rest, so you don't need to put it in a grow tent or anything like that. All it requires is some sun during the morning and temperatures going down to 5 degrees centigrade, which is probably like 45 or just under that Fahrenheit. And this is a lovely plant when it does flower. So no special, as hard as the other to get out. Nothing goes to plan like I want. This is a Cattleya corulia. That's what the flowers look like on the internet. It did put out these 2. 1, 2, and there's a sheath down there, so it wants to flower. There's a sheath in this one. The bulb isn't as big as the last one, but hey, what do you know? When you fiddle around with orchids, this is what you get. But definitely the next year that comes, this summer, it'll put out bigger bulbs. This is a division given to me by a friend. She said she just repotted it at the time. That was about late summer. She said, oh, I cut a division off and grew it. And this is truly a tough orchid in the Cattleya alliance. So down there I can actually see a sheath just trying to pop out. And this is growing in sphagnum moss that is pretty dry right now. And it grows on the balcony. So it's really healthy, doing well. The ones that are getting gone from that lady's collection. This is my very first Cattleya that I've featured many times. And it is a gigantic thing now that needs to be divided. It's got new bulbs coming out. 1, 2, 3. So this thing doesn't really know. 4, it doesn't know what it's doing because it grows when it wants to and it flowers when it wants to. So I just don't know about the flowering period. I've had it flower. I've had it flower in late winter, early spring, and even in summer. So last summer, which wasn't long ago, it did flower. This one hangs out on the balcony, and as long as it's suspended and hanging up, it can put up with the high temperatures with some shade cloth. And the good thing is that the back of the plant is putting out new bulbs. So that means I can have a clear split. I can split it, and it don't need to be repotted. And another, if you're afraid of damaging your Cattleya or setting it back a couple of years, because maybe it doesn't, if it's not a hardy kind of Cattleya, then it's going to be set back. If it's a hard one of the hardy ones like the Beringiana and the Corelia. Those ones tend to bounce back pretty fast. But if you are afraid, you could just tie a little small pot and let the roots grow into it from the new parts of the plant that are growing out of it. And once those roots are gone into the little pot, you can cut it off from mummy plant. This one has beautiful bright yellow flowers, just pure yellow. So this is my first orchid. It was unnamed because it was a division. It grows just in pumice here, and I'm pretty sure it's got Walkeriana in it. It did put out this new bulb, and I can see a sheath just emerging out of there, so it might flower. It tried to grow one other time from here, and then it watered it, but it's pushing out a new growth again. So being an orchid, it didn't have much of a root system. Decided to abort it to save itself. It didn't lose any leaves whatsoever, like the other ones that I bought together with this. And it doesn't mind the dryness in the winter, and all it is just pumice. It's just growing into a bag of pumice here, and I'm going to wrap around this basket. And hopefully when it becomes bigger and more established, it will flower. The other thing is that I make sure that I do fertilize. I give it the all-purpose fertilizer, but I don't over fertilize, whatever that means. It's also lovely trying to get them off. All these hooks have been made so that the plants don't get blown off in high gusty winds, but also sometimes they've got to reshape them to hang them in different positions. But this one has a really nice root system. I have to look on the other side of the camera to make sure that I'm actually on target here. You can see these roots have started to go onto the mound. You can see it's trying to push out a new growth. This is its newest that it's been working on all summer, because the main thing is this plant is trying to establish itself under this log, and its roots were pretty much all dried out like that as a cutting when I bought it. The good thing is that it hasn't lost any leaves, and it tried to flower once, but I wouldn't let it. I actually cut the flower off because it wasn't developing very well and it didn't have much of a root system. But as time goes on, it will get better. So I have no idea what flower it'll have. This is a big one that I've featured before. I got a video of this flowering, and this is Dendrobium chrysitoxum. This thing is a massive plant, and don't be jealous because there's not a lot of orchids that can grow big, okay? Very few, and this is one of the few. The rest of mine are little tiny Neophoenicia falcatas and Dendrobium monoliformes. But this one is one that is no problem in this climate. All it requires is a dry winter rest in a sunny window. It doesn't need any humidifier or anything. With a low humidity, it suits it quite well. I just give it a spritz of water every now and then, but it's mainly on the dry side, so when I touch it, it's pretty dry in there. And it had a bunch of keikis. It still does have a lot of keikis left here, but I took off and growing another plant. And the new bulbs that have put out are real healthy. You got 1, 2, and 3. And the flowers are beautiful, smell like honey. I'm so glad I can have at least. Okay, not only do the Floridians, people living in Florida, have these, but also these do really well here too. And this one is in flower, and it's Brassiocatlia Gulshaw's Beauty. Thing is that it lacks any fragrance, because as with a lot of hybrids, you never know what you're going to end up with. It's got amazing green sepals with this rolled up labellum that's almost making a tube. I was attracted to the flower very much. It's growing in a pot, and hey presto, it doesn't mind it being in a pot one bit. If it started to go downhill and die and not produce any growth, I would have taken it straight out. But it grows fine this way. Is pushing out a new growth here that was actually trapped under the basket, and I saw it in time. This one hangs up outside in the south side because we got that extreme hot weather in the summer. So once again it's flowered, so that is an easy to grow orchid. And this one is let me check my notes here. Epiphyllum anguliger, native to Mexico. Fishbone shaped stems. No, they're not leaves at all. No, they are leaves. It's all leaves. Yeah. It has this magnificent flower that I have on a separate video when it was open at night bloomer, but you can catch that. It's amazing. Doesn't take up much space. You can trim it and cut it if it does get in the way. You can trim it and have it any way you want. You can have it growing up on a trellis. You can have it cascading down. It does put out these thinner growths here. These are a little special adaptation to life in the trees, where it will send out these very narrow spindly growths here to try to look for new branches to colonize. So it'll reach out and roots will come out of here, and it may grow a new plant. My neighbor doesn't water these in the winter, but I do. This is, and if I put my finger in there, it's up for it's kind of just damp in there, but it does need another water, and it's starting to just feel slightly damp. Time for a water. But it does have these are flower spikes coming, so it's setting them already. That means it's a nice healthy plant. When your orchids set their flower spikes nice and early, it's a good indication that it's a healthy plant. That's what I think. This is Phylogeny intermedia. This is the weed, Phylogeny. And it loves cooler temperatures, so it must hang in shade in the most breeziest positions. Unfortunately, I'm not able to look at it and admire it, because not everyone likes plants hanging around the place. It's just something to complain or moan about. But if I had my own, if I could prepare things and display them better, I would do that. I'd have them hanging in the car porch, but not where you walk. I'd have them hanging off to the side there so you can all see them. However, it's very hard to find cool places to grow cooler growing orchids in this particular zone here. This one just requires plenty of water in the summer. You can just let it, give it a lot every day. Keep it pretty wet. It actually likes to be quite soaked. And then as it starts to dry out, give it another good soaking. I did put this chopstick in here to maneuver the plant a little bit back inside here so it can continue to grow. Otherwise I could put a little pot and make a new one, but I don't want to keep making new plants. That's just one of my many bad habits, and I have no one to give it to, and I end up having to throw it away. So this just grows in sphagnum moss, and looks like Jason's hockey mask. It's just a hanging pot that I put a lot of holes in for aeration, and it does get a good feed every third to fourth watering. We'll give it some all-purpose liquid fertilizer. This one needs a good drink, so I'm going to put it down. This one is, it lost some leaves on this bulb, which made me get a cold sweat, but this particular bulb here is still doing fine, and it's a beautiful thing, and I think that it's pretty hardy. It has flowers that resemble antelope dendrobiums. I'll try to put its photo on the screen here, but I don't think it's that common. I think it's a hybrid made in Japan, probably, because I just don't see much of it. But I did buy it with a small root system, just starting to develop, and I kind of just lightly moistened this, and it's broken crock and chunks of pumice and a little bit of bark. But I hope it recovers and grows very nice, because it is a nice orchid. Chrysotoxums cakeys. One of them did lose all of its leaves after I trimmed it off, but it should grow. These ones had nice roots coming off them. It's apparently given up on this particular growth here. It's rotted off. So maybe doing it at this time of the year was a bad idea. We live, we learn. Maybe it was a bad idea cutting the keikis off and trying to grow them in the cooler season. There's still time. But definitely this part is rotted. But it's not the end of it. We'll see. Shock. This one here is the native orchid of Tanzania, which has been up and down, out, round and about. I noticed that the older stems get brittle and they're easy to break. That's why they're short, because they broke off. And it always puts out 2 new growths every year, so that it is becoming a bigger plant gradually, very slowly. And I've decided to repot it, and we'll see what happens with it. It's never flowered. Next one is Renee Marks Dendrobium. This one, Epidendrum. Let's put out this new cane that continues to grow through the winter, so I have to give it some water so that it keeps growing it, and it will flower in the very early spring. Also has another growth here coming out, and I found that this one is pretty tough in the heat. It gets the same treatment as the Cattleyas, and it's one of those orchids that can look pretty rough. It's got the anthocyanins in it, and plus little burns here and there. So this one is hard to decide if it's healthy or not, but apparently the leaves have speckling on them naturally. Okay, next one is a vicious grower. This is Dendrobium, what do you call it again? And this, look how fat that is compared to my finger. I just took it out and repotted it straight into another pot, and it's starting to grow the roots out already. It's continuing to grow, and this one is practically found everywhere in people's collections in Japan, and the reason why is because it's very robust. Gutton Sunray, that's it. This is a very robust growing Dendrobium, and I'm going to have to look it up again and see what it is exactly. Is it hybridized, or is it a species? Check out how fat that is. And this thing can get to massive, enormous size. To turn off the camera because we had a doorbell. That fan heater is definitely giving me out some warmth. This next one is Beringiana. You'll see the flowers here. It's a tall plant. This is a very hardy orchid, so that the reason why you don't particularly see them too much is because when somebody gets it, they never lose it. It'll turn into a big specimen plant in somebody's collection, and they tend to forget about it because it just does so well. It's just this plant that's well established within the collection, but not forgotten about, not ignored, and not taken for granted. I wouldn't say that. It's just that it does so well that it becomes part of the furniture in your garden. And there's lovely crosses. There's a lovely cross with this Beringiana and I think Nodosa, and it's Braccio Cattleya Maikai, which is on my wish list. I notice it's popped up a lot. And what made me realize that is its availability. That one's doing real good. It's got nice roots coming out. Forgot to show you. I don't know if you can see, if I can get it aimed. But generally when it's finished, it's growing its new cane and it comes into flower. Just before then, it's a good time to repot it. So you can see it's just putting out the new roots here that are going to make their way into this potting mixture, which is a mix of sphagnum moss, chunks of pumice chunks, a little bit of bark. This next one is called Happy Cattleya Kyoguchi Happy Field, and there are a lot of other hybrids of this. It has these nice shiny squat bulbs on it. It seems to not grow into the sphagnum moss too much. I don't think it has a very extensive root system. I think it has a deliberately produced root system, like it's got its brain working somewhere inside this orchid. It has a brain, and it only puts out the roots when it really needs them, to make sure that they're good sturdy roots, but it's not a lot of roots. And it did much better this year, being in the position where the brassavolas were. on the south side where the very, very late evening sunshine would come in and early morning sunshine. And here it has this new bulb, and plus this one, this real shiny one. And inside there is a sheath, so it will definitely flower. So this one is actually was going downhill little by little, being on the balcony with those super high temperatures, but has recovered and looking much better, being in a more humid, cooler position, if you can call it cooler. Okay, next. Okay, I've got to be careful that I don't break anything taking it out. This is the monster Laelia. If you don't have a Laelia, that's because everyone else has one and you don't need it. I featured the flowers a lot. We're just starting to go over. But let's point out something that may worry you. Floppy new growth. Can you see the floppy new growth here? See it's flopping over? So this is not rot, because this is a well-established plant. So it's not going to rot. But what this is just the winter sunlight is less, and the plant is pushing out its growth fast. So that means that it's kind of collapsing on itself, so I just got to bring it up. It did this, I think, the year before last. It did the same thing. So it's not rot. It's the plant pushing out more growth and lower light. Lower light meaning that the sunlight is coming in here. It's slightly direct, but it has got a lot of new growth on it. Sulcate bulbs. Sulcate meaning that they have a bit furrows through the older bulbs. Don't mistake that for underwatering. It normally just has bulbs like that. So I'm not going to put this away because I've got to deal with that floppy growth and try to prop it up a little bit. Next. All of this moving around won't be done in vain. We'll use the opportunity. I will use it as an opportunity to clean up. You may notice something that looks like shells. It's oyster shells for birds, but it has good calcium in it, and I sprinkle it in. This, I don't know if you can see, but that sheath there has a shadow on it. It's full of buds. Last year it flowered. I had 3 beautiful flowers. I think it was 3 out of 1 bulb. A glorious Cattleya fragrance. This is Rinco Lelio Cattleya Youngkong. It is my one and only jumbo Cattleya, my one and only. I don't have any others. This is the only one I have. So it's precious to me. If this plant doesn't make it, I'm going to curl up and die. Okay. So we have a new growth coming out there, look. So it's in a this pot here that's not glazed or anything, so it's very porous. When you water it in the summer, this bulb, this whole thing will change color because it soaks the water up. It's also good because it keeps the root system cooler, and it stops the chances of overwatering. And it is mainly pumice with some bark. You may see quite a bit of bark on the top, but it's almost 100% pumice. And I do not overwater it, even in the summertime, in the heat. I will only water it when it's thoroughly dried out. And sometimes I just lightly water it so that the medium is just moistened. A lot of people will say that if you're going to water it thoroughly. But it's such a unnatural way of growing Cattleyas, having them in a pot, that you needn't soak it. You just give it a good light watering that makes the medium retain some moisture, and it's doing perfectly fine like that. It's able to get enough water to grow and mature its bulbs. Okay. I'm feeling a little worn out now from talking, but I hope that was fun for you, and I'm trying my best to talk about everything in detail. Pulling all the plants out just gives me a chance to pull these out and just have a quick wipe up and keep it clean. And that's all from me, and we'll see you. Oh, of course, this is Brassavola mendoza, and every year it likes to drop leaves and shock me, but I think that according to all my sources and reading up about it, it is part of its life cycle, and it even drops leaves on the newer growths. So it's just something it does. I haven't watered inside the sheets here. I just give it a quick spritz around here. I can't induce new growth and everything like that because we're in winter right now, so I can forget about soaking it. So we're talking about the spray bottle here underneath that rag, and it gets a good thorough misting so that those roots can soak up some water. But I can't water it thoroughly because it's not in growth mode, and it won't because we're having a winter right now. However, during the summertime you can get plenty of water, no problem whatsoever. This one doesn't lose any leaves. This is the it's according to the tag, Brassavola little stars, and it's a nice healthy plant. You can see it's got a nice new root there, and the lower roots that were dangling freely, they've kind of wrinkled a bit because it's getting in drier now, but overall it has rooted onto the mount, which I'm real happy about. And of course this one, Gulf Shore's Beauty. There's just so many of these out there, and I keep seeing them and want them, but I'm keeping my wish list small, and I'm just going to go with a Maikai because it's going to grow and flourish. So I need plants to flourish, not grow, die back, struggle. I can't have that. I got to only choose orchids that I can grow well, and Maikai is going to be the one. Okay, that's it. This is my Tillandsia. It has the quill, the flower that looks like a quill, which is flattened, and the flower is flattened, and in between the sheaths of the flower stalk, it's kind of bright pink. The little flowers pop out. It's really a nice plant. It hasn't flowered for me. I put it in a much chunkier mix because during the summer it gets soaked quite a bit, and I'm going to put it in slightly higher light. It was kind of under a shrub. I think it needs a bit more sun than that. This is a beautiful Tillandsia, and I'll put the name on the screen for you. So I recommend this. You grow this in a coconut fiber basket, and once it colonizes it, it's just amazing. People are going to stop and look at it and wonder what it is. It's a nice shape and nice, no sharp edges or anything. You can run your hands over it. It has these beautiful flowers that knock people out. People are just going to stop and look at it and think, what on earth is that? And the bright, not the bracts. The bracts of the flowers are not only bright and colorful, but the little flowers that pop out are even brighter. Yeah. Alright, and that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. and struggles with orchids I will share with you. Yep, I'm sharing everything with you. The mistakes, failures, and things going well. Everything. Especially for those who have a cold climate in the winter. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching again. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, maybe you want to know a little bit more detail about each orchid I have so that you can grow them yourself. And until next time, we'll see you. Bye bye.